Hello everyone, welcome back to Moving Japan. I'm Jordan, and today I'd like to discuss a little bit about our actual hiring of movers to get our stuff from the United States to Japan. Right now, as you can see, I'm down in Southern California, staying with family for a little bit as my wife and I get prepared for our last few weeks before we make the big move. So it is about 2 weeks from today that we'll fly to Japan. We had our household goods picked up it was about a month ago now, and yeah, it was a fairly complicated procedure to figure out who to use as a moving company. There are lots and lots of international moving companies out there. We found a site where you could email, it would send out your information to a bunch of moving companies and they would contact you with quotes. So I did that, and then I also did some Google searches for some other moving companies and just sent them some emails with our details. We didn't have a lot of stuff, and again, a lot is relative. As you'll see in any blog about moving to Japan, less is better. If you can go over there with a few suitcases, that's fantastic because it is pretty expensive. We had, I think it was an estimate of like 220 cubic meters of goods to take over, which wasn't a lot. Like we moved down from Alaska down to California. We had the smallest U-Haul rental. It was like a 10 by 10 foot box truck, and that was probably 2/3 full. It was about 220 cubic meters of goods. No furniture, mostly just boxes of clothes, a lot of crafting supplies, some books, things like that. It still takes up a lot of room. So it didn't seem like a lot for us. When we sent that off to the moving companies, we got a number of quotes back. The ranges were all over the board from about $4,500 to about $9,000 or $10,000. So I talked to a couple of those companies that were on the lower end because it seemed like all the services were about the same. When you got down to it, they would all come to your house to load everything. Essentially, the lower price companies we chose, you do all the packing yourself, which I'd already moved out of Alaska, so the packing was already done. That wasn't a problem. Everything was already boxed up. So they just load it on the truck, bring it to their warehouse, and then arrange for the international move. And then they actually arrange for, on the Japan side, when things get to Japan, that a company in Japan will bring it to your house. And everyone recommends I'll use a Japanese moving company because just the way they handle your goods is so amazing. We don't really have anything that breakable. And of course, as it gets to Japan, the Japanese company is going to be handling it, including the movers that are going to bring it into your house. So we were confident that the level of service we'd get, no matter what, was going to be pretty high. I'll update you as it actually gets to our house and is unpacked. So we went with, I can't remember the name of the company. It was like International Movers. And really easy to deal with. They gave us a quote of about $4,500 to move our stuff. No real time frame on how long it was going to take. But it took a couple of weeks to kind of get the contract signed with them. It is just a quote they give us. They say it is subject to change, and ours did change. And then they sent up it was like a worldwide movers came and packed up all our items. It took them only a couple hours. They were actually super careful with it. They're very generous too. Some items that we packed up that were fine, and actually packed them much more carefully. So they actually did some packing for us that they weren't required to do. And loaded in, they had two kind of large vertical plywood boxes in the back of their big moving truck. They packed the first one fully. The second one they packed was probably only a third full, and they drove away. And then probably a day later, I got a call from that moving company saying that the quote, the space we used was much higher than was anticipated. So they said the space we were going to use was something like 330 square cubic meters instead of like 220 that we had estimated. And then I wrote them back, and I was thinking a response. I was basically just asking them, like, is that extra space? Essentially, are they charging us for 2 containers, even though we only filled like 1 1/3? I'm assuming that's the case. And again, it's kind of my bad for not asking a question. So my recommendation is to ask that moving company a ton of questions, because we had known we were going to pay an extra $2,500 for the small amount of things we had put in that extra box. It obviously depending on where it's bringing them, we could just bought those. And on the other hand, if we knew we were going to have, say we charged for 2/3 of an empty box and it was things that were worth taking, we would have filled in the box. We would have bought a lot more stuff. So we were specific when we started to deal with the moving company and ask them, what am I being charged for? If it's X amount of cubic meters, and if it goes over a little bit, I'm going to charge for filling the box, or is this a shared removal? Are you going to be able to use that box for something else? Because it'll help you determine what you can bring, what you should bring, and possibly what they might charge you. And then as they're packing, if I had known, again, I would have had a series of boxes that I would have put at the very end, the items that weren't that important. So if they'd fill up the first box and say, okay, we're going to have to charge you an extra, $3,000 for the second box, or the handful of boxes that I have left, so well, this stuff isn't worth that. So just fill that first box and be good enough with it. That's just a recommendation, if that's something you're going to look into doing. Once they got it packed, again, I went to the warehouse. Their quote was higher, so our initial quote was about $4,500 for, again, like 220 cubic meters, but they ended up being 330, just getting a lot of empty space. So the quote went up to, I think it was just over $7,000. So, it's a lot of money for not a lot of stuff. So again, how much is worth it? It's really hard for me to find clothing in Japan. My wife was just going for what you can sell, but it is going to be hard for her to find clothing in Japan. And she's really brought a lot of craft stuff that it's hard to replace. She's really interested in using over there. This is fine. And again, it's stuff on the road, so we're fine with the cost. It's like I say, there. And up to you as we get items there. There's a few tips, and then I just had to contact the movers to find them. And just Google searches, look for those one thing. I'll email a bunch of movers to get a quote and just ask a lot of questions. I'm going to do it. And I don't have a time frame on how long it's going to take. It's also the same because of all the shipping difficulties around the world with logistics, with conflicts in the River Sea, etc., etc. Costs have gone up, and I think the time is going to take easy for one place to another. It's gone up, so it's fine. We went to be in Japan for a couple of weeks or a month or two. Not a month or stuff. Like people will get by, it's not much of a problem. But it's the updating on these things sent to Japan. Link in another video. We are going over there with our dog, which as far as moving is concerned is far more complicated than anything else. So the recommendation is if someone could take it for that, everybody's doing that, because it is logistically extremely challenging. That's how we're doing it. So take it from another episode. Again, if you're interested in this, give a thumbs up and comment them below, especially if you have any questions about how we are doing things or taking a look at how things went. And I'll be sure to take a look and answer.